Alright guys, this is the second part of the cutting. Right, I already cut the upper part, which is the overlap. We are making the jumpsuit, okay? So this is the second part of it. I'm cutting the lower part right now, which is the trouser, okay? So if you've seen my previous video, I use a different method for cutting the trouser in that video, okay? So but for this, I'll be using a different method. I think I made mention of it in my last trouser making video, that when next I'm making a trouser video, I will show you guys another way of making a trouser, okay? It's the jumpsuit trouser, yes, but it's basically the same way you make your normal trouser. All right, so it's up to you now to know which method you want to use. Is it the other method or this method? Okay, I'm sure there are also plenty of methods out there. Just go with the one that works best for you. Okay, so this, I've already folded my trouser. Yeah, on how to fold the trouser, you use the biggest part of the body. Now this is the lower part, okay? Normally if it's a skirt or making, we're using the hip as the biggest part. If it's a trouser or a short or a jumpsuit, okay, or a straight jumpsuit without cutting, you fold with the thigh. All right, we're not using the hip this time around. That's because the thigh is divided by 2, while the hip is divided by 4. Okay, so use the biggest circumference. Although body types are different, yeah, make sure you check the hip and the thigh. Whichever one that is the biggest, make use of that. Okay, some people have wide hips and very thin thighs. All right, so make sure you use the biggest part. If it's the hip that is the biggest, use it. That's the hip divided by 4, while the thigh divided by 2. Okay, so I'm using, for me, my thigh is the biggest, so I'm using my thigh to make the folding. Okay, my thigh is 25 divided by 2, that is 12.5. I added extra half an inch allowance for it, so that'll be 13. So I have to measure 13 from this folded line. Okay, let's start from here. So this is 13. The next thing we're going to do right now is to find the midpoint of this 13 that we just marked out. Find the midpoint and mark the midpoint, then join the lines together. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do, I already mark out the baseline here, half an inch. All right, the next thing we're going to do right now is to take the vertical measurements. Okay, so my waist to hip is 10. This is a jumpsuit. That's what I'm saying. In case you haven't seen the measurement for, or how to take a measurement for jumpsuits, please check the measurement video. The link is in the description box. Go watch how to take measurements for jumpsuits. All right, so my waist to hip is 10. My crouch line is my waist to crouch is 12. My waist to knee is 23. My waist to my length, that's the length of the trouser. So my length is 46. This is 46. I'm adding extra 2 inches allowance for the hemming. So that'll be 48. So I'll mark the same thing here. Okay, so how do we determine our crouch curve? All right, so this is the hip line, this is the crotch line. Okay, my hip, we use the hip measurements. My hip is 40 divided by 4, that's 10. So we're starting from here, mark out 10. This is 10. Okay, then mark the same 10 on your crouch line and your waistline. So we're having 10, 10, 10. Okay, so now how do we get the curve? Just the same way we normally draw our armhole curve. On this is the crouch line, right? On this angle 90 that this line and this line meet, come in by 1 inch. This is 1 inch. Then you take your curve ruler, whatever curve instrument you have. From that, pick it like that and bring it in. Okay, so make a curve with it. Either you use your hand or use any curve instrument that you have to draw your crouch curve. Okay, now this is our crouch. So the next thing we're going to do right now is to take the horizontal measurement. Okay, and for my knee, I want it a wide leg, not so wide, but a nice wide straight leg. And for my knee measurement, I took 24 for that. So 24 divided by 2, that will be 12. So the way to place the measurement on this, there are 2 ways you can do that. Is you do 24 divided by 4, right? 24 divided by 4, that should be 6. So you take 6 from this line here, you take 6 here, then you come back from this line, you take 6 here. Okay, the other way you can also do it is 24 divided by 2, that is 12. So this is my 12. You fold to get the midpoint of that 12, which is 6, right? Then you place that midpoint, that's 6, you place it in the middle of this knee length, mark here, then mark 12. Okay, so anyone that is easier for you, if it is 24 divided by 4, then you mark 6 here, you mark 6 here. All right. Okay, so for the leg opening, I'm taking 22 for that. That will be 22 divided by 2, that will be 11. Take midpoint of 11 like this, or 22 divided by 4, that's 5.5. Take 5.5 here, 5.5 here. All right, so let's do that. Okay, next thing we're going to do now is to join the points. We're joining this crouch here to this 6 we marked here, then to the 5. Okay, we do the same thing for here to this crouch line. Okay, you can decide to leave it like this, cut out the back, right? When sewing, you can undo the shaping here, because some people tend to make mistake when they start taking the waist measurement here, then before you know it's small and stuff like that. Okay, you can leave it like this, but what I do is I take my waist measurements, then I add the allowance that I added on the upper parts. Okay, so my waist measurement is what, 6.75, then 6.75. So I'll start from here now, no longer from here. For the waist, we start from this way. So the waist, I'm having 6.75, right? So it should be around here. Remember the upper part, I added 2 inches allowance, right? So I'm going to add it back here. So this is my waist now. This is my waistline. Come to the hip line. Go 2 inches above the hip line, or 3 inches, depending. This is, we don't take our shaping. This is because we don't want to take out from the hip, right? When cutting, they'll cut up on the hip. We don't want to do that. So you come up by 2 or 3, then join this line to this. Okay, now you've seen the shaping. All right, so now I'm going to cut out. Before cutting, let me take my dart measurement. So my dart is 7 divided by 2, that's 3.5. Okay, you can decide to use this line as your dart. Okay, so that is my dart already, because taking from here to here give me 3.5. So this is my dart line. And this line, I'm not going to cut it. This is my half an inch I'm going to use to join it to the upper part. So I'm not cutting out this line, I'm leaving it like that. So we're just going to cut out the remaining part of the trouser. Okay guys, so I'm done cutting it out. Then I decided to add a pocket for this. So I'll be adding a pocket for this. And to do that, on the waistline from this side, measure out 2, right? Measure out 2, then the depth, that the length of the pocket will be 7. You take 7, then connect those 2 points together. So this is the pocket area. Some people decide to just leave theirs like this, while some cut out theirs. For me, I'll be leaving it like this. After cutting out the back, then I'll cut out this pocket I just marked out, okay? Let's fold for the back. Okay guys, so I'm done pinning the front piece to the back. If you notice, while cutting the front, I never added any allowance except for the waist. So I never added an allowance on this, not on this, not on this side. No, this is for this method, okay? So now what are we doing? Make sure when folding, there is extra 3 inches allowance extra on this crouch area, okay? So now let's add our allowance. On this side, we're adding 2 inches allowance, 2. So mark out the 2. Then on the crouch area, mark out 3. So 3. You can decide to maintain 3 all the way through or 2 all the way through, but you can come down maybe somewhere around here, come down by 2.5. Then you can now maintain 2 all the way, okay? Okay. All right. For this waist area, so we're adding 2 here, we added 3, 2.5, then the rest we came down by 2. You can decide to make it all 3 inches. That is perfectly fine. You can decide to come down all 2 inches apart from the crouch, which is 3. That is still fine, okay? Then for the waist, we'll come this part of the waist will come up by this is the waistline. Let me draw the waistline. This is the waistline. So come up by 1. This is 1. So we're joining this to this end, okay? So we're joining these points together. Make a curve to the crouch line. Join this one together. transfer the darts from the front to the back as well. So you're gonna notch this back as well. Okay, so we're done. After cutting, there is something I'm going to show you. Let's cut it out first. So what I was going to show you guys is this. Okay, when you're done cutting, to make sure that it is equal, this crouch area, so that when you're sewing, one crouch is not bigger than the other, just fold it like as if you want to sew, you want to join them together. Okay, as you can see, this part is longer than this, so we have to make it equal. So I'm going to turn and trim it out. Now for this front, I'm going to cut out the pocket area that I said I'm going to cut out. So this is it, from that 7 inches mark. Down to the 2 inches. Okay, so this is where our pocket will sit. Please make sure to mark your fabric if the front and the back is always looking, that's the right side and the wrong side is always looking similar. Make sure to mark it. This already has a marking on it, so I'm just going to mark out the back. So now I'm going to flip this way so we can trim out this crouch area. Make sure the pieces are equal, okay? No one is... Okay. So guys, this is a rope I'll be using to just, tie around the waist while wearing the outfit. So I cut out 50, the length is 50, then the width is 5. So when folding, use half an inch to sew. I'll be left with 2. So I want the width to be just 2 inches when I tie it around my waist. Okay, this is my pants. Thank you guys for watching this video. This is the end for the cutting for this lower part of the trouser. If you haven't seen the upper part, that's the overlap upper part, please kindly do so, okay? Because we're making a jumpsuit. In case you just bumped into this video and you haven't seen the other part, it's a jumpsuit I'm making. This is the lower part. In case you haven't seen the upper part, please kindly do so, okay? Thank you so much for watching. The next thing we're going to do next is to sew this outfit. All right, bye. Thank you.